What's going on, guys? My name is Striforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So today we are going to be, I guess, reviewing the BP50 legendary skin that came alongside the Seven Deadly Sins collaboration called the Lioness Grace. I think that's what it's called. There were two draws that were released that day, one for Meliodas and one for Elizabeth. This is the Elizabeth draw. So if you guys remember, I did promise that I was going to pick up the BP50 skin, and I already did. And the main reason for that is because I do not have any major skins for the BP50 other than maybe just the Dark Matter. I don't even have the Battle Pass skin because during the time that the BP50 originally came out, I was in the middle of my army training. They did give us phone access on Sundays, but I didn't really think to buy the Mythic skin. So I made a choice that if there was ever a legendary skin that would come out for the BP50, I would just pick that one up instead of the Mythic. And that time has officially come, and in the form of a collaboration draw. So this BP50 skin is a lot fancier than I thought it would be. I mean, it's one thing to see a legendary skin through a picture, but to actually see how it looks like in game is kind of a different story. I'm not really one to pick up a very feminine style skin, specifically with this one. I mean, the last one that I could remember that I bought that was a lot more the feminine type was the LK24 Idol Star, but that was so long ago. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. So this is like the first feminine skin I could remember actually buying. But that's kind of what this thing aims for. You know, it's the Elizabeth draw. It's meant to be, I guess, geared towards female players. I would say also serve simps, but then that would kind of put me in that category since I kind of bought it. But really, I just bought it because I don't have anything for the BP50. So how are the effects? How does the weapon look like, or what do I think of it personally? So starting off with just the main appearance itself, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it does look fancy. It does have some shiny metal parts, making it have like a more solid gold theme with that little ruby behind the iron side. I think that's probably one of the best features about it. The outer effects as well are pretty cool. I mean, they don't really move that much. You could see Elizabeth with those wings kind of like moving a little bit, but you know, obviously you're going to be focused on the game, so you're not really going to notice it too much. There are special voice lines with this gun, surprisingly. If you do switch out or switch into the weapon, let's say you switch from using a pistol to the BP50 once more, it does have a voice line. I think it's from her. I'm not sure. I've never seen the show, but nonetheless, it does have a voice line, which again is something that is pretty surprising to me because we're like, I play the global version, and usually, whenever there's a collaboration draw that has any sort of voice lines on a weapon, they usually take that away from us and just let Garena or the Chinese version of the game keep it. Having voice lines for a certain gun, especially if it's like an anime type of collaboration, is usually very rare, especially for the global version. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if in a later update they actually take it away, because I know they love taking away things that we like. So I think we should enjoy the voice line for what it is right now, because it may not last forever. They usually love taking that shit away from us. If anything, they usually have a hard time of deciding whether or not they want to keep it, because there are updates where we do have the voice lines for, let's say, the Alchemy Star skin, so you know, the Holger or the HVK, but then there are other times where we don't have it. And I think recently with the Idol Star on the LK, we actually ended up having that voice line. I haven't checked whether or not it still has it, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, again, voice lines at the end of the day are not really well known in global to be for legendary guns. We just are not awarded that privilege for whatever reason. Some might argue that, oh, it's just not in the English language, which is, I would say, the majority of global. But at the same time, I don't really think people care that it's in a different language, whether it be Chinese, Japanese, Journese, look at these. But I think, I mean, it's just nice to have some special, unique feature like that. And speaking of unique features, we do have a custom inspection. It doesn't really entail too much. It's just mainly just wings appearing in the front of the screen. So that's basically it. I mean, it's nothing, again, it's nothing special, but we have something. So now let's actually talk about the iron sight. So the iron sight, it's kind of like a hybrid, I would say. You know, like the little wings looks more like a digital portion of the iron sight, but it kind of got that treatment with that LK24 skin that you get for getting legendary 6 times, where there's like this red dot that's on the tip of the iron sight. The BP50, this one specifically has that same type of treatment as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Meliodas CX9 also has that as well. So yeah, both of them have that. And also, I do want to talk about camo coverage as well. I think that's a reason why a lot of people buy certain skins. So the camo coverage actually isn't that bad. It does cover, I would say, the majority of the body of the weapon, thankfully. I was actually expecting it to be pretty terrible, but no, it's actually pretty good for once. The last time we got some collaboration draws, which I think was Alchemy Stars, the camo coverage for both of those weapons weren't really that great. I mean, yeah, it did cover, I would say, the majority of the gun as well, but because of how the design was, it just didn't look right, if that makes any sense. But now I want to talk about probably the most negative portion of the BP50 Legendary, which is the death effect. So I know a lot of people had some complaints about this, and it's just the fact that the BP50 death effect lasts a little bit too long, much so to the point where it kind of becomes intrusive, especially if you're killing like multiple people in a straight line. You cannot see where the next person is if they are behind that death effect, or if you can, it's pretty hard to see. For me, with the short time that I had to play with the BP50 before I got off, I mean, it's not that bad, I would say. At least it was mainly because for me, I was dealing with people individually. You know, everyone was kind of scattered, but I could understand what people are talking about because I've had, there are certain death effects that I do want to remove on certain like legendaries or mythics that get a little bit too intrusive or in your way. So I do understand where they're coming from. But yeah, at the end of the day, the BP50 Lionel Grace, it surprisingly wasn't that expensive, and that was mainly because of that little extra currency thing that they had. You know, if you buy those little card things, you could kind of replace them as COD points. But the cool thing is that they sold these bundles for a cheaper price, meaning that you were actually able to save a lot of COD points if you bought all three bundles, which was actually able to pay off, I would say, the majority of the draws. I mean, buying the Shecom legendary skin, that didn't really take much. If anything, I didn't have to pay any extra money for that. So it was a money saver for at least this draw. I wasn't really going to aim for the CX9, which I still haven't. I did do some pulls just in case I get lucky, but that wasn't really the case. But anyways, that's all I have to say for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mode content. And I'll see you guys next time.